Speaking exclusively to CNN News 18, News 18's Aman Sharma, Jayen Mehta has welcomed the India-US trade deal, thanking the Prime Minister and the government for what he's called a historic agreement. Listen to this one as well.
India and the US have released a joint statement looking forward to the framework which could be signed next week for the bilateral trade deal between both the countries. And topmost on the mind of every Indian and every policymaker is, how does this affect the Indian farmer? Will he gain from it? That is the big question on everybody's mind. And I have today with me Mr. Jayen Mehta, the Managing Director of Amul. And he's perhaps the best person to speak on this. Welcome to CNN News 18. Mr. Mehta, my first question to you, that the government says that the farmers gain from this trade deal. In concrete terms, how does an Indian dairy farmer benefit from an agreement with the US?
Well, this is indeed a very historic deal which India and USA are doing, and it is very good for the farm sector of our country, particularly the dairy sector. So on behalf of the 36 lakh farmers who own the Amul brand and millions of dairy farmers of the country, would like to thank the Honorable Prime Minister for such a historic deal which supports the farm sector of the country, supports the dairy sector of the country. And the biggest challenge that we faced over the last several months of negotiation, and in fact lasting into several years in the past, was regarding their need to access the Indian dairy market. So the government has stood firm in the interest of the milk producers of the country, of the farmers of the country. And this itself is a very, very positive step for the government for the farmers.
So, can the India-US trade deal, help Indian dairy farmers get better prices, better technology, global market access, or are the gains, you would say, largely indirect?
Both ways. The reason that India, as we know, is the largest producer of milk in the world. About 1/4 of the total milk in the world is produced in India. In the next 10 years, India will produce 1/3 of the total milk in the world. So yes, this is a golden opportunity for us to become a dairy to the world. So, when we are preparing for that kind of a situation, if the trade deal had been weaker and had India allowed the imports of the dairy products from US and EU and many other countries who want access to our market, it would have really put a dampener to the efforts that India has already been putting into it. We should also understand India, not just the largest producer of milk in the world, is also the largest consumer market of milk in the world. So each one of them would eye for this market to grow their production and their market base. But India, in its own wisdom, with the courage which Honorable Prime Minister demonstrated in this and all other FTAs, to support the farmers, stand for the farmers, actually will bring in a very long-term prosperity for all the dairy farmers of the country and the entire agricultural sector of our country. Because end of the day, our cows don't have luxury to graze on the pastures of land. Ours is a roughage-based thing. So India, being a large producer of wheat in the world, of paddy in the world, oilseeds in the world, if that is supported, the farm sector also gets supported. And this is a mutual support which the industry gives and gets from each other, will lead to a much further growth in the milk production, in supporting the livelihoods of 8 to 10 crore families dependent on milk, and thereby make India a very, very strong and a powerful dairy nation in the times to come.
Well, and in the same vein, sir, do you think this deal also strengthens the cooperative model, farmer incomes you're speaking about, rather than just protecting them from harm, this deal could actually lead in the increase of the farmer incomes?
True. So that has been a very, very strong objective the government has been following. When we say doubling of the farmers' income, dairy is one sector which has demonstrated that. And in our case, the dairy is largely organized in India in the cooperative sector. So you are right that under the new Ministry of Cooperation, which has been set up 5 years, Honorable Minister of Home and Cooperation, Shri Amit Shah ji, has been guiding and steering this entire dairy cooperative expansion movement through White Revolution 2.0, in which there are about, say, 200,000 village cooperative societies in the country today. In the next 5 years, that number is going to double to about 400,000 cooperative societies. So more milk will come into the organized sector. More women will become members of these cooperative societies. And as the dairy industry develops, both in terms of quality of milk, in terms of volume of milk, and in terms of the access to market of milk, it will really bring in a lot of prosperity for the small farmers of the nation.
And sir, what would you say to those naysayers, who have been repeatedly saying that the Indian farmer interest has been sold out, to the US? There were many apprehensions that, as you correctly mentioned, that the deal with EU, the deal with New Zealand, or the deal with the US could lead to a flooding of our market of dairy products from these nations.
Well, I cannot comment on what others think and say, but on the ground, and as Amul, when we deal with say 3.6 million farm families across 18,600 villages of Gujarat, we deal with more than 20 lakh farm families in 20,000 villages outside Gujarat. Obviously, we have a pulse on what's happening on the ground, and more importantly, how beneficial this deal has been for every single farmer household in the country. So that way, we've been really thankful to the government for their firm stand in supporting our farmer interest. And the results will be there for everyone to see. I mean, people can have a different opinion and pick and choose one or two things, but you look at the total picture, it's been fantastic for the entire dairy and the farm sector.
And sir, my last question to you: do you think this trade deal, looking maybe 5 years from now, make also Indian dairy farmers more competitive? Just not simply more insulated, but maybe even more competitive.
That's true, because that's where the approach of the industry has been. As you see more and more organized sector coming into it, more and more milk flowing in package branded format will bring in a lot of competitiveness. And obviously, we are serving the interests of our consumers. And when consumers want the best in every single category of dairy and food products, the industry has to shape up according to that. So innovation is the name of the game. Technology adoption is the name of the game. And that is where Amul and several cooperatives of the country, many private sectors of the country are working very hard to do that. So obviously, all of us want not just our individual brands, but brand India to also rise and shine. And as we say, if we want to become a dairy to the world, we have to also live up to the expectations of not just our consumers, but also consumers of the world.